WWE SummerSlam is officially in the books, and it will go down as one of the greatest SummerSlams in the modern era. I did a live reaction to it with Ray over on LS11 Universe, and we loved everything about the show. Really, the only one hang-up I had with it was that Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa maybe went just a little bit too long, in my opinion. But in the end, I think it was all worth it for the finish to the show, which of course saw the return of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. But that does mean that now we are only a couple of weeks away from Bash in Berlin, WWE's first ever premium live event from Germany, which I am very excited for. Not only am I excited for it because the international pay-per-view events always lead to having some of the best crowds in WWE, some of the loudest, most active crowds that we've seen, and some of the most engaged crowds that we've seen, further proving that we've been spoiled here in the United States for far too long. But also, I love that these premium live events start in the middle of the day. I get done with the stream at 3, 4 o'clock. I got plenty of time to do other stuff. I can hang out with my wife. I can play other games. I can go live on Twitch. I can just do whatever I want for the rest of the day, and I'm not sitting there all day preparing for this live stream to start at 7 o'clock and run until almost midnight. That being said, it is seemingly my job now, as someone who appears in front of a camera and talks about wrestling, it is contractually obligated that now I start predicting what I think the card is going to look like weeks in advance for these shows. I obviously can't claim credit for this concept. There's a lot of people who do this. We all know who I'm talking about, and they all do a great job. It's not sarcastic. They actually do a great job. But here is my predictions for what I think the Bash at Berlin card is going to be. Now, typically in the Triple H era, we have about 5 matches for regular shows, and then 6 to 7 for bigger shows like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, so on and so forth. But I've gone with 6 for Bash at Berlin because I couldn't think of any of these to cut from the show, because otherwise there would be no women's match, or one of the big marquee matches that I think they want to sell Bash at Berlin around wouldn't be on the show, or 2 very important people wouldn't be on the show. That is why the first thing I'm going to talk about, let's get it right out of the gate, Gunther defending his newly won World Heavyweight Championship. Now, yeah, I'm really well aware that Randy's going after Gunther now. This video was recorded quite literally an hour before Raw started airing, so it's a little outdated. The popular vote goes to running Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov in a one-on-one match here. A lot of people have said to do that. A lot of people think that that's what should happen. Now, do I think that's what should happen? Yeah, probably. But for the sake of, I want to add my own little spin to these things and not just be seen as taking everyone else's ideas and acting like it's the greatest thing ever, I'm throwing one more wrench into the mix. I say you only tease everyone with a good time of Gunther versus Dragunov. You do Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov versus Drew McIntyre in a big, meaty triple threat matchup. You have the 3 of them go out for that World Heavyweight title. You have Drew focus on the world title because he just beat CM Punk at SummerSlam. He claims his business with Punk is done. We'll get to Punk later on. And you also get Ilya Dragunov elevated into a main event scene where, I'm going to be quite honest with you, I love Ilya Dragunov. I really do. I've been a fan of his for years now, ever since the first match with Gunther back in NXT UK, all the way back during the pandemic. However, I'm not 100% sure you can sell a premium live event around him in a one-on-one world title match yet. I do believe you can do it one day, but I think you need to start with this triple threat personally. Drew, Ilya, Gunther, obviously have Gunther retain Germany. They are going to be hot for all 3 of these guys. Gunther and Dragunov both wrestled in the German independent scenes for many years. Drew McIntyre, well, Germany's close to the UK, to Scotland, in the definition of neither of them are in America, right? Ooh, my overseas crowd is not going to be happy with that joke. But that being said, the other person similar to Gunther and Dragunov on this card needs to be Ludwig Kaiser, who says he is nearing an in-ring return. He is almost ready. He is almost done recovering from his injury. Now, I think the obvious choice is to have Ludwig going after the Intercontinental Championship against Braun Breaker, but Ludwig also went out injured in the middle of a feud with Sheamus. And Sheamus right now is in the middle of a feud with Pete Dunne, so let's smash all of those feuds together and let's have ourselves a fun, high-paced, fast-action, fatal 4-way matchup for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. I think this is a great idea. You might disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. It's my opinion. Just remember, it's my opinion. You're allowed to have yours. I think Braun Breaker, he just won the championship. He's not going to lose it anytime soon. But you get Ludwig this big showcase match in Germany, in his home country. Sheamus, you still have the beat of he wants the Intercontinental Championship. It's the one championship he's never had in the WWE. Sheamus wants it. He feels like he needs it. He feels like he's got to go for it. Then you got Pete Dunne, who is trying to break out from under the shadow that Sheamus left him in when he broke up the Brawling Brutes a few years ago now. And Pete Dunne wants to win his first singles championship on the main roster in WWE, that being the Intercontinental Championship, and he wants to spite his former mentor by doing it. All four of these guys have history in some way, shape, or form, except for, I guess, maybe Braun and Pete Dunne don't have history. Well, no. Team NXT versus Team NXT 2.0. I haven't forgotten that match. But ultimately, I think the Fatal 4-Way is the way to go. You can protect people like Sheamus in defeat. You can have Ludwig get an incredible showing where he's taken out all three guys over and over until maybe you have Braun Breaker steal the pin to get some heel heat, spearing Ludwig and then pinning whoever Ludwig just took out, probably Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is honestly in the match to take the pin so that Ludwig doesn't have to get pinned in front of the entire home country. This next match needs a little less explanation. It's going to be Naomi challenging Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. I don't see them taking Bayley versus Nia Jax to another pay-per-view cycle, especially with how limited the space on premium live events are nowadays. And I think after you had Tiffany Stratton cost Bayley the championship through the fake-out cash-in, which I thought was a brilliant spot, by the way, in case you were wondering, I feel like they're going to run Bayley versus Tiffany from here on out, and they may have Bayley get at least a televised rematch against Nia on an episode of SmackDown, and once again have Tiffany cost her that to do Bayley versus Tiffany, probably on the SmackDown beforehand, the day before in Germany. Naomi has history with Nia Jax and the fact that they're both part of the Bloodline in some way, shape, or form through relation. Not part of the actual faction, but Nia is family. Naomi's married into the family, so you could play on that a little bit with them being cousins, I guess, similar to how they used to do with Naomi and Tamina, or Nia and Tamina. Bring in Tamina, that's the missing link here, obviously. I'm kidding. Or am I? I'm kidding. Anyways, Nia Jax needs an opponent. I feel like you gotta have... It always just feels like, to me, you should at least have both of the men's and women's world titles on the show in some way, shape, or form, even if they're not on the line, similar to how Cody main evented Money in the Bank in the six-man tag team matchup, and what we'll be seeing with Liv Morgan in just a moment when I get to pitching this match to you. But I think Naomi and Nia could be a very fun match. Good David and Goliath situation. I've really enjoyed Nia since her return. That was a bit of a hot take in the SummerSlam live reactions. I had people getting a little upset at me for saying that I was happy that Nia Jax got some respect and got the Women's Championship. But, I've really enjoyed her since her return to WWE this time. She's had some good matches. She's not, she's not Shawn Michaels or anything. She's not like the greatest competitor in ring in history. She's not a ring general by any means, but she has solid matches. She's a very fun, big person wrestler. She's a good powerhouse. I feel like she's beaten the injury jokes at this point. I feel like, she's been back a year. I think we can let those jokes go. They're a little old. They're a little stale. I'm a little tired of hearing them, quite honestly. Anyways, that brings me to my next match to pitch you, which is an 8-person tag team matchup. Now, I know a lot of people have said that Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest should fight Dom and Liv, or Finn and Liv, or some combination like that. Let me try and sell you on something here. 8-person tag team matchup. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, the new Judgment Day, because Liv says she wants to take everything from Rhea, therefore she should take the name Judgment Day from Rhea as well. They should get to keep the other side as their theme, while Rhea and Damian have to go on and just be the Terror Twins, more or less. But Finn, JD, Dom, and Liv against Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. I firmly believe that Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are going to be the two guys that take the World Tag Team Championships off of Finn Balor and JD McDonough in the near future. I think that's going to lead into the Bloodline Civil War in a couple of months at Survivor Series War Games. And I think that this is how you set it up. They've been doing this joking, flirting between Rhea and Jey for a while, so that naturally slots them together. Rhea's going to need someone to back her up against Dom and Liv, and, if only she had a real-life partner who hadn't just signed a big money deal at another company. Damn it, buddy. The story was right there. The story was right there. I'm not mad at him for making money. I'm mad at him for not coming back to WWE to be with Rhea. I've been fantasy booking Rhea and Buddy as a spooky power couple for like a year now, okay? And this isn't a Xander hates AEW thing either, before anyone gets on that thought process. Anyways, we're now playing this game of how often is this wisp of hair going to land in my face? Anyways, Sami Zayn easily just slots in there because he is best friends with Jey Uso. They are Usi with one another. They're good friends. They're going into those tag team titles. Damian Priest can be hesitant. I say you probably have Sammy and Damian have some tension. Jey is just all in on being side by side with Mommy. And then obviously the rest makes sense. And, I say you got to have the New Judgment Day win here. Obviously, you got to have Finn, JD, Dom, and Liv pick up the win in this matchup. You don't want to just have Liv take the Judgment Day just to then immediately lose. And I think all of this will eventually lead to blow-offs at Bad Blood, Survivor Series, so on. And honestly, I could see Finn Balor becoming world champion throughout all this time as well. But that's a topic for another video. Maybe later this week I'll do who should be the next person to hold every title in WWE. I don't know. I tried to do that before, and I just completely spaced out when doing it, so I didn't end up publishing the video. But I got a lot of them right. I did get LA Knight, Gunther, Braun Breaker, and the Bloodline right, and the other titles hadn't changed. And Nia. I got Nia right as well. I'm getting off on a tirade. Let's get back to my video. The wisp just lives in front of my eye now, and we're all just going to have to get used to it. All right, the second to last matchup I am trying to sell for this show is Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. I think it's time. I don't think you can go a full premium live event cycle without following up on Seth and Punk. I think the only way you could get around this is maybe Seth gets kayfabe suspended by just absolutely obliterating CM Punk on Raw on the August 5th episode. Did that happen? I don't know. This video is probably coming out after that episode of Raw. Come watch it live with me. I do Raw watch-alongs, NXT watch-alongs, sometimes TNA and SmackDown watch-alongs every week. You should come watch them. Maybe we'll move them to this channel. I don't know. I'm thinking on that. Would that make more sense? Probably. It's a video gaming channel. I'm really getting off on tirades today, huh? Anyways, I think you either do Seth and Punk here, or you can save it by doing some kind of kayfabe suspension with Seth for getting in, or Punk, one or the other. I feel like you gotta kayfabe suspend one of them somehow. Punk did hit a GTS on Seth when he was the official. I don't know. You either do this match or you suspend one of them is what I'm saying. Or suspend, obviously. But that leads into my pitch for the main event. Now, would the more obvious choice be Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus Solo and Jacob Fatu? Yes. It would be. However, there's already other people pitching that, and I am anything if original. It's like I have a whole channel dedicated to making my own storylines. So, I know I already pitched to you all earlier an 8-person tag team matchup with the old Judgment Day versus New Judgment Day and all that stuff. Let me pitch you one more. The Bloodline of Solo, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, assuming that he is good to go after that nasty spot at SummerSlam. I know he was seen in a walking boot, but at the time of this video, nothing's been outright stated about his injury status, if that's kayfabe or not. And, if needed, you could just debut Hikuleu earlier instead of having him debut in this matchup. But the Bloodline versus Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Yeah, I know. Roman's first match since losing the title, 8-person tag match. What the heck am I thinking, right? What I'm thinking is, imagine the pop when Cody, Randy, and Kevin are refusing to tag in Roman for the whole match. And it is just getting louder and louder. We want Roman chants until finally the Bloodline take Randy and KO off the apron. And Cody has no choice but to make the hot tag to Roman. And Roman cleans house. Think about it. You could do the same thing with just Cody and Roman, with Cody being hesitant to tag Roman, but 3 people who can't stand Roman all just tagging one another to keep Roman out of the match. Think about it. Think about the pop when Cody has to tag Roman, and he does so. Now, I have a bit of a memory for things that no one else thinks of. This idea totally came from the episode of Raw in 2014 when Sheamus and John Cena were refusing to tag in Roman, and then Roman got a huge pop when he got tagged in, and it was the 3-on-3 match before Money in the Bank 2014. I don't know why that matchup still lives in my head. I was on vacation when that matchup aired. If you've ever wondered how good my memory is for things involving wrestling, there you go. Can I tell you what I had for breakfast this morning? No, I cannot. Can I tell you what matches I think should happen at Bash in Berlin? I just did. And with that, that's a hell of a way to end the video. I've been Xander. I'll see you all soon. Probably for the Who Should Be the Next Champions in WWE video. I really am not that good at these whole looking down the camera, hosting these kind of videos without getting off on a tirade thing, am I? I don't know. I guess maybe I should just end it mid-sentence.